All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about Gervonta Davis's response to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Says no matter how much money you get, you can still be jealous of people. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Fanon. We're going to talk about a wild situation going on in boxing, and that is between Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Gervonta Davis just had his press conference today for his fight with Rolly Romero, and on the very same day in Dubai, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is at a press conference announcing the fight that he has with his competitor, Don Moore. Before I get into the circumstance, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, and also make sure you hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. All right, man, this is just a wild situation. Did a video about it earlier today, but now Gervonta Davis hits out on Twitter about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and says, man, how am I going to have a fight? And I'm paraphrasing. In the actual tweet will be in the thumbnail. He says, man, how are you going to be have a fight the same day? You have the fight the same month as me. He says day, but this fight the same month as me. Press conference the same day as me. It's like no matter how much money somebody can get, they can still be jealous. And man, I don't get it, man. This is a really, really tacky move on the part of Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I can't think that this is anything but purposeful and a way to try to strike back at Gervonta Davis. However, if that is what he's trying to do, I'm telling you, man, Floyd Mayweather Jr. probably needs to come to grips with the fact that his fame as it relates to going into boxing matches is probably slipping a little bit, man, because his press conference, they released the information on ES News. You can see the press conference on ES News, who released the footage. Not a lot of people are talking about it. A whole lot of people are just really on what happened between Gervonta Davis and Rolly Romero. You also had another press conference that took place today between Ryan Garcia and Togo for the fight that they got going on in this weekend. But it's just a sad state of affairs, man. And I don't think that there's any way that this thing is going to be repaired. I did a video, yesterday where I talked about, how Floyd Mayweather Jr. is, being a part-time promoter and, has more of his interest in more of his attention on the things that he's doing as a fighter and not necessarily, fully invested, from my point of view, fully invested in trying to grow Mayweather Promotions and grow the fighters that he has. This thing that he did today, man, is just 100% showing what the deal is, man. How are you going to, on the day that your biggest fighter is announcing their fight under your promotional banner, are you going to be halfway across the world and then announce and have your own press conference for an exhibition fight that you're having the same month that your fighter is having his? I'm telling you, man, it's just a travesty, man. Absolute travesty. And quite honestly, man, maybe this is a little bit extreme, but man, I'm feeling like just a little bit embarrassed for Floyd, man. Like, you cannot stay at the forefront of the boxing world forever. You know what I mean? No matter how great you are in sports, you can overstay your welcome. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. is without a doubt overstaying his welcome as far as being an attraction in a boxing ring. And I don't care if it is an exhibition fight. I don't care, definitely if it's not a real fight. This guy's going to mess around, turn around, and wind up having somebody sneak one in on him in a boxing ring, man, and start tarnishing this dude's legacy for real. But just to be out there and be so insistent on yourself in the face of the careers of other people growing, it's just, man, I can't get with it. And Gervonta Tank Davis would be very, very smart to be like, look, we got Gervonta Tank Davis promotions at GTD promotions. Strike a deal with Al Heyman to arrange the fights where Gervonta Davis's fights will be on the co-managed or whatever by Tom Brown Promotions. Have Showtime really be the one pushing the fight, selling the fight, just like Errol Spence Jr. does, just like Deontay Wilder does. But this Sideshow Bob type of stuff, man, should probably end. And for anybody saying that there's something wrong with Gervonta Davis and that Gervonta Davis isn't being loyal, and he wouldn't be where he is because of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Yeah, obviously that's the case, but that would be the case with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Bob Arum. That would be the case with Oscar De La Hoya. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum, even though I think that Oscar De La Hoya coming out as the Olympic gold medalist might have been straight with Don King. You never know, man, how that would have went, because Oscar De La Hoya was somebody that was going to get a lot of pub regardless, coming out of the Olympics during a time where Americans that win gold medals were still getting a lot of publicity. That didn't really stop until like the early 2000s or the late 1990s, where you had Andre Ward coming up and being a Olympic gold medalist, but not getting a lot of interest in him and not a lot of people promoting him. But whatever the case is, man, I can't say for sure that Gervonta Davis is right by saying, man, these dudes can be jealous. But I think that there is without a doubt, an argument that this is jealousy on the part of on the part of Floyd Mayweather Jr. because he's not young anymore. He doesn't have, he's not having the big fights that actually matter. And one of the things that they always say about professional athletes is that it's hard to let go of the limelight, right? And so Floyd to me looks like he is trying his best to hang on to the limelight however he can, whether that is doing exhibition matches or him being a promoter. And like again I said, man, he is a part-time promoter, obviously a part-time promoter, and is not fully invested in that, man. It may just be time for Floyd Mayweather Jr. just to get his head around the fact that, dude, you're 40-something years old. It's just it, man. You can't keep going to the college parties. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it reminds me, when I was in college, man, you get out of, you're 20, 23, 24 years old and you're going by these clubs and all of that stuff. But before you know it, it don't look the same when you're going in there at 45 years old, 46 years old. When you're 45 years old, 43, 44, 45, people are looking at you like, man, why aren't you with your children? You know what I mean? You should be at home. You should be at home at your house with your grandkids or something. If you got different businesses going off the roof, you ain't got no business doing that. Same thing for these fighters, man. If you have one or two, okay. Like Mike Tyson came out. Mike Tyson came out and said, all right, he had a fight real quick, but with Roy Jones Jr., and then he was done, right? Roy Jones had that, he was done, right? Just if you do one or two, but just continuing to do it and then competing against your own fighters, it's just a terrible look, man. But anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.